Hey guys, welcome back to Theater Hitana. My name is Abby, and today we're waiting for the long-awaited video that you guys have been requesting since I did, since season 2 of Sabrina came out, which is again, basically my thoughts on the second season. I finally watched it. I believe I finished it this week. If I'm not mistaken, I finished it early this week. And so we're going to talk about it. I had a lot of issues with the season. Some of those issues are going to be a little bit controversial, but whatever. But we're going to get to it, and I'm going to try to be as quickly as I can so I don't, I can talk a lot. Gemini moon. So starting with my favorites, I broke it down of my favorites and my so starting with my favorites, I love the tarot episode. That was probably one of my favorite episodes. It was really interesting, the take and the spin that they did on it. Some of the card interpretations were but I do know people that read like that, so it's fine. It was really cool. I really want Netflix to release some merch. Can y'all release the tarot deck? Can y'all release the Satan Bible? And can some of y'all please make a cookbook? Even though Hilda didn't cook as much in the season, which I was kind of upset about, I still wanted to see more recipes, but I still want me a cookbook of stuff that she's cooking, don't get me wrong. So those are still my list of demands from Netflix. Thanks. Okay. The other thing I loved about the finale, this is probably one of my only favorite things about the finale, because I felt like the finale was just ugh. But they sang the Masquerade song from the Phantom of the Opera, and if you know me personally, I love the Phantom of the Opera. I love musicals, period. Phantom of the Opera is one of my favorite musicals of all time, probably my favorite musical of all time, if I'm quite possibly. So I just love their take on it. I love the spin on it. Her dress was gorgeous. It was just a very beautiful episode. Lots of gold tones. Gold definitely hints at those kind of divine colors, so not really surprised. Other thing I liked about the ending too was the whole Church of Lilith thing, turning the Church of Night into the Church of Lilith. I thought that was really cool because I feel like the whole season, the whole first 2 seasons has been a battle between the patriarchy versus the matriarchy, but they really made that a theme in the second season, which I did like. I just wish that they would have done a little bit better. I mean, but they did it kind of in a way accurately, because it felt like women had to be sneaky to try to beat the patriarchy, which is what ended up happening. But that's one of the things I liked about it, that they put that in the forefront. This is your mentality. Can y'all just really understand? Can you? So I did like the patriarchy versus matriarchy, in your face concept. I really liked Roz developing her gift, the cunning. She was practicing more. She was working her juju. She was in practice. I feel like she can be very powerful character, especially later on in the series. So I definitely want her to practice and get better, and maybe end up exploring other avenues that she might end up using the cunning with, because you never know. So yeah, I want to see where that goes in the long run, so we'll see about that. I'm literally having coffee and just, it's 10:16 a.m. guys. Yeah. So then we're gonna get into the list of stuff that I did not really care for in this season, because you have to remember the show is called The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, so it's supposed to be an adventure, and she is a witch, so you would think that it would be more magic involved in everything. I personally did not like all the goddamn love triangles in this freaking season. It was the Ross, Sabrina, Harvey love triangle. it was just peeved by, because it was just why are these undertones there? Is either we're gonna have healthy relationships, or we're gonna have healthy relationships with a side eye to the past. It's just, it was unnecessary. Also the Nick, Harvey, Sabrina love triangle, it was just I get it, there's gonna be jealousy and stuff because men and stuff and women, but still it was just like a lot of triangulating, and it was just a lot of like math that I didn't want to take. That's basically what my feedback is about that. It was just a lot. It was just a lot of love triangling, honestly. The next thing that I really did not care for that much in the story, and this is probably going to be the most controversial thing I'm going to say, but as a writer and as a person who reads books, there's a reason why I'm saying this, but the Susie to Theo transitioning story, I didn't think it needed to take as much screen time as it did, because it didn't give anything to the story besides it being a psychological aspect in a tarot episode. But it really didn't do anything else with anything else that was going on as far as like the main story, what the main arc was, like all the climaxing, like it had nothing to do with it, and I felt like it took so much screen time. And it's hard to also say because there hasn't been a lot of transgender representation in a good way in film, so it's just like, do you take the L or do you take the L to the story? Like, who takes the L? Ultimately, we kind of all take the L because it didn't contribute anything to the story. If anything, it was kind of like a kind of nod, like what they did with the last season where they named the club Wicca, and some people were pissed about it actually, which is funny. I thought it was like a really cute nod that they gave to Wicca, but some people in Wicca were mad that they did that. But they were mad for the wrong reasons, I felt, because it's like the show, it has nothing to do with Wicca. It was never like a Wiccan show. It's about witchcraft, and witchcraft is not necessarily Wicca. Wicca's outer, if you're looking at the spider chart, it is an outer bubble to witchcraft. It is an extension of it, not necessarily it. So I just felt it was kind of stupid that we were getting mad about that. I was just like, you really mad that they gave you a shout out? Like, they didn't give all the other forms of witchcraft a shout out, but they gave y'all a shout out, so why is y'all mad? Like, I personally did not understand why it was a big deal to be mad about them giving you a bone, basically. The show is not about Wicca, even though they do use a lot of like different spells and stuff, but it's not about that. It's about witchcraft and religion. Patriarchy versus matriarchy, but ultimately it's about witchcraft. The craft. It's not like just this thing, you know? I don't know. That was kind of like stupid. I was just like, really? I thought it was cute that they were like, oh, we're gonna name the club Wicca. That's so cute, you know? I just thought it was cute. I get mad about everything. So yeah, I really didn't care for the transitioning story. I didn't think that it played a role in the story. It was cute as like a subplot of the story, but it just felt like every episode it would just be more scenes of Susie / then Theo, and it would just be like, okay, but am I gonna get to a point here? Like, I want to see the developing story with her and her fire pilot aunt. Was it her aunt or her? I think it was her aunt, and I want to see more of that developing because she can talk to spirits. Can we just get into more of that like type of stuff developing? Like, it's a show about witchcraft ultimately, so I don't know, I just felt like it didn't really do anything to the story. It was a cute thing to do in presenting it in a positive light, not in a negative way, especially when it deals with kids in schools and stuff, but I just didn't feel like it did anything to the story. It just, I don't know, agree to disagree on that one, get mad at me for it, but ultimately I just didn't really care for that storyline. Also, next thing is that Salem didn't talk, and I thought he was going to talk this season. The next thing I wrote that I didn't like was that there wasn't as many spells, and Sabrina kind of became a demigod, so it wasn't as fun to watch because it was, before in the first season, it was like her using magic as a solution to her issues, and like almost every single episode that's really what it was. It was just like, okay, this is the problem, what spell can I use, what tool can I use? And it was just like really how we work as witches. Like, that's really what we be doing out here. Like, oh, this is the problem, okay, what, I need to do this spell, I need to like da-da-da. And that's really how we are in real life. So it's just like, I felt really, really connected to the first season, but the second season it was just like she became a demigod because she was a daughter of Satan, and so she's just think about the thing and then make it happen. I mean, yeah, mental manifestation is a thing, but it was just kind of not as much fun to watch, you know? This is kind of why I always think Superman sucks, because he's like, he's a superhero that he could do pretty much everything, but like, he's boring, because even his villains are boring. Like, this is why I love Batman, because he's a human who has taken it upon himself to make himself really like strong and really like smart and really like investigating, and then he has the coolest villains that are very psychological and mental and very like crazy. So it just makes for more of an interesting superhero to watch, because you have to have a weakness. Oh, kryptonite, here's his crystal. Come on now. And it just felt like it was like that. It was like, okay, she's dumb again, nothing happened. So it was kind of like, it wasn't as fun to watch in that regard. I wanted to see more spells. Also, I wanted to see more of the Weird Sisters. Like, they literally had like one episode together pretty much. Everything else was just almost pretty much divided. Like, I was just really kind of like, they didn't do no fun stuff. Like, I just wanted to see them do some cool stuff. And the last thing that I wrote is that I didn't like that Satan got debunked real quick. It was just literally like, oh, he's a fallen angel, he's not really like all that. Church of Lilith, like, I love that it turned into the Church of Lilith, but at the same time it was just like, they were just looking for something to like pray to at this point. Like, what is gonna be our religion now? Which seems like a very stupid thing to say, when ultimately it's just, like, looking back, it's just like, you kind of have to go into, okay, does Satan actually give you this power? Are you just using your own power? Like, you're gonna have to kind of go into all the nitty gritty. No, let's just pick a new church, Lilith. Let's just worship Lilith, even though Lilith did not give you any power and stuff like that. So it just kind of felt like very like, And I mean, I get it, because, and I'm gonna say another thing that's very controversial, but Jesus himself is technically a deity, so it's kind of like, he ultimately can get debunked really quick as well. It's not like it's hard. The same way that Satan got debunked, Jesus can get debunked as far as I am concerned. But because I do not consider him to be the divine, some people would, and that's totally fine and dandy if that's what you want to believe. I don't believe that at all for a lot of reasons. But yeah, it just felt like super like imagine if this was actually like a Christian show. Like, it was like Jesus was the main one, and then he got debunked at the end. And that would have been a cooler thing to watch, because I feel like he has a larger following like in the real world. But it was kind of like that. Like, it was just like an underwhelming, like, they played him up to be such a big bad and stuff, and then they just put him in another person's body and then put him to sleep and took him to hell, as if he's not gonna break out of that. So hopefully he becomes a cooler story, or a cooler character, develops a little bit in the later seasons, because I'm sure it's not over. I do love Lilith though. I've always loved Madam Satan. She's a really cool character, and I've loved her since Doctor Who, so it's just like, I just love her. But I can't wait to see what she does and what her character does, so we'll see. But yeah, I had a lot of issues with the season, because I just didn't feel like it was as good as the first season. There was just a lot of stuff that like I could have done without, and more stuff that I would have added that would have given it some like push. Yeah, for the most part, it was just like, it felt like a lot of like women fighting for their rights type of season, but it was just also not highlighting women's power as much as I wanted. Except for when the whole Sabrina demigod thing. I mean, the visuals were really cool, I'll tell you that much. But I mean, as always, like, I feel like the visuals in Sabrina is one of the best, because it's just, everything looks super like perfect. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. But those are my thoughts on the season of Sabrina. Yeah, let me know if there's something that you want to add to that list, or something that like I probably forgot. But for the most part, those are the things that I really liked, and those are the things that I really didn't care for. Basically, we'll see, because there's 2 more seasons coming up, so maybe they'll improve. I was told by Bay that she said that whatchamacallit, that the reason why they kind of like, it did feel rushed too. They kind of rushed it was because they were filming Riverdale 2, which from my understanding I heard that it's not that great of a show, so it's kind of annoying that they kind of maybe they didn't give at the 100% to this season, just because I had to film the other one. So I don't know, hopefully season 3 is better, but those are my thoughts. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe.